Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Jodez Unloads. I'm here with Kedron today of 876 Streets, and we're going to talk about 876 Streets from thought to conception. But before we go, remember to like, subscribe, and comment in the box below. We'll be right back.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me.
Alright, so welcome back. We are in the open air tonight, a different setting than you're used to. And like I said before, we have Kedron of 876 Streets. Kedron, do you want to introduce yourself?
Alright, so big up Jodez Unload fans. My name is Kedron Kennedy. I am the CEO. The brain behind 876 Streets. And you'll get to know a lot more about me as we go on.
So this episode falls under our Zedodge Performance Motorsports playlist, and it wouldn't be complete if I didn't interview Kedron first for the motorsports aspect, because my love for motorsports has been years upon years, but the real acting out or taking part in motorsports was because of 876
Oh,
Streets.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
cool.
I think it is only fitting to start you.
there.
First of all, Kedron, why, what, how? What is 876 Streets?
876 Streets is a brand. It's a Jamaican automotive lifestyle brand.
You mentioned that it's a Jamaican brand.
Yes.
And of course, majority of your followers, members, people who aspire to be a part of 876 Streets,
Yes.
they're in Jamaica.
We have quite a huge following outside. I mean, in the diaspora. Of course, we have to branch out now.
So these pages,
Yes.
they're called 876 Streets Cayman,
Right.
876 Streets Canada.
Right.
Okay.
And you
So
have
it
the
still
main
it still maintains the area code,
Definitely.
but then tagged to the location.
Definitely.
All right. Why did you start 876 Streets?
I was a musician.
Okay.
Still dabble a bit, but because 876 Streets is a full-time operation now, I hardly get time to, practice or participate, playing music. But in 2016, I was supposed to go to Dubai. It fell through. I was kind of like disappointed. I said, let me try something else. June 26, 2016. It's a Sunday. I can't forget. I sat around the computer. First, before I got to the computer, I said, what is it that I love? Because I always hear people say, turn your passion into a career, and you won't work a day in your life because it won't feel like you're working.
True.
Yeah? And so I sat there and I said, what me love other than music? And, of course, the first thing that came to mind, motorsports. So I said, let me try to launch one of them social media pages and whatever, just a hobby.
Play around with it.
Yeah, whatever happens. And then I said, no, I want something that says Jamaica without saying Jamaica.
Right.
And it was like, when a bell go off, and yeah. And I said 876, which represents Jamaica.
Jamaica.
And streets mean, street cars. I mean,
Yeah.
street. I hate this,
Yeah.
876
Six
Streets.
streets.
And it had a buzz.
It still has a buzz.
I mean,
Yeah.
right there and then, I just got up, went to the computer, and created the logo, which is what you see here. This was the first concept. This is the first concept of 876 Streets, and it is our logo today.
I must say, aside from being enthusiastic about motorsports and having a great passion for cars, most of you on the page will know that I'm also big in entrepreneurship and motivation. And there's something that Kedron just mentioned a while ago about this is the first logo, and that is what you created first, and it's still trending today. And it's very important for me to say right now that, you know, based on you mentioning that sometimes whatever you launch with has to be your signature for people to recognize with you and be able to associate with you in the future.
Definitely.
So if Colgate or Pepsi kept on changing their logos
As they go
every
along.
year, you wouldn't be able to identify them
That's
over
true.
a period of time. And even if it does change,
Yeah.
subtle changes.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
It works. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, so we're looking at a 5-year span for 876 Street so far. Just about 5 years?
2016,
2021.
almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years.
Yes, the 26th of June this year would make, or will make officially 5 years. Yeah.
All right, my question to you is, at that moment in time, you had a vision for 876 Streets. The vision you had then
Yes.
versus what is happening now.
No.
Is this what you expected?
It was mainly as a hobby. As time progressed, I realized that, you know, if marketed properly, it can actually be a business. In 2017, I got registered and decided to let it be a business, you know, pay my taxes
Right.
and, you know, just do what normal businesses do.
Kedron has something very special to share with us that he has never shared before.
No.
And for the very first time, you're going to hear it on Jodez Unloads. But here's what I need you to do for me. Drop a comment in the box below and let us know what you think about this video so far. And also let us know what else you'd like to hear from us as our next video. We'll be right back.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day.
Alright, so welcome back to Jodez Unloads. Before the break, we were having a chat with Kedron of 876 Streets about, you know, how he came up with the idea for 876 Streets and, you know, how it has grown over the years. You're 876 Streets. I am a part of 876 Streets, you know, joined 876 Streets. There are other motor racing brands out there that cover somewhat, they have a platform
Yes.
where enthusiasts can, you know, play a part. But what I see as a difference between 876 Streets and the others is you actually dive into motorsports on a
Yes.
greater platform, you know, when it comes to drag racing and circuit and drift and whatever
Rally,
it is,
whatever it
car
is.
shows,
Whatever it is.
it's motorsports and car enthusiasm on a whole.
Automotive lifestyle.
Automotive lifestyle.
Right.
Yes.
And based on how much I've seen the local car scene grow over the past 5 years, I believe that in the future, if we treat this thing as a product,
A
it
product
can be
of Jamaica.
of Jamaica, it can be marketed.
Okay.
It can be marketed where persons from, you know, the Caribbean islands want to come to Jamaica just to see what our auto culture is like. But just to wrap up on the question, 5 years ago, I didn't see this. No, we have a website, we have an app, not iPhone as yet, not Apple as yet. We have quite a large following, and it's not just a large following. They are dedicated persons who just day in day out, it's like
active.
a lifestyle. It is. I have to say thanks to everybody who you have played a part, whether it is maybe you never purchased anything from us, but you've shared a video, you've told somebody about 876 Streets. It at the end of the day, it all adds up.
I've interacted with people from Switzerland that knows about 876 Streets.
All right, as you mentioned that, like a few months ago, I got a message from somebody in Africa.
My name is Dennis Mulwa from Nairobi, Kenya, and this is my Toyota Sprinter, and I really love this content from 876 Streets. Thank you.
That kind of was just a humbling experience for me, because you really don't know. People say to me all the time, you don't know what you have, you don't know
Correct.
the reach of this thing, and
it's because of how humble you are.
yes, and that's one thing, as you mentioned, humble. That kind of segue into what I wanted to reveal, right?
So, are you ready for the
man,
reveal?
we're there. So
First time ever mentioned, and you saw
Wow.
it first on Jodez Unloads.
all right, so for the past 4 years, I've always been the person behind the camera, behind the spotlight, just behind the scene. With 876 Streets, I want 876 Streets to be bigger than me. I don't want people to see me. Right? Coming from a musical feel where you're an entertainer, you're kind of exposed to the, what you call it now, the publicity kind of, you're out there,
Right.
I kind of made a decision that I didn't want that. I want it to be more, reserved, more behind the scenes, working. All right. So this, I must say, this is my first official public interview. The first. It was deliberate to kind of stay behind the scenes and work. Somebody said to me, "Well, you don't look like a typical car guy."
I would say maybe because you are so behind the scenes. The only thing at one point that I saw your passion come out in was the branding of your motor vehicle with 876 Streets, and that wasn't the typical car guy sort of motor vehicle. Here comes Mr. Ultimate car enthusiast,
Got you.
and you don't have a race car. So,
a couple years ago, I was at a car show in Kingston. A guy walk up to me and say, "So where your car there?" And I did not take offense to it. I actually laughed. And I said to him, one day.
I was gonna ask you a cliche question.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? However, I myself, being an entrepreneur, being a businesswoman, I wouldn't be able to answer that question for you
Right.
based on our current pandemic situation.
Yes.
Right? So when we get released, when we are officially out of curfew and restrictions,
Hopefully
what
not
is-
5 years.
hopefully not 5 years, but
Well,
what is the
say
first thing that you'd like to do when the government says there is now a ban lifted on motorsports and we're able to just
get
dive
back to
in.
some. Well, the first thing I'd want to do for 876 Streets is to catch up on what I've missed out. Some of what I've missed out on for the past year. A lot of racers have been investing even during this pandemic. They have been, importing a lot of race cars, doing some major upgrades. I mean, serious upgrades.
Someone pulled up to me recently at the stoplight. It's someone that I've raced with before.
Okay.
And we were both waiting on the light to change, not for a pull-off, but literally to just go about our business.
Okay.
And he was saying to me, boy, the country locked down and we can't wait for it to be open again. And I remember the race with him, it was really funny because when racers lose, there tends to be a lot of excuse as to,
Yeah, man. Typical.
miss gear and
Typical.
axle broke and,
Yeah,
all
all
of these
kind of
things.
thing.
And I remember saying to him, say, boy, nobody should have an excuse after this pandemic because we've all had enough time
Yes.
to fix our cars the way we want them to be, to upgrade if you're stuck and you've been going at it stuck. Put your upgrades
Yeah,
on.
man.
So
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. The sad reality for some persons though is that them not really have a job because of COVID,
Right.
and so they have the time but not the resource. One of the things that put 876 Streets out there when we started, it was this guy, Shine, and he had a Nissan B12, and there was this concept that you have to feature
A hot
a
car.
flashy car, and I could tell that if this guy was a multi-millionaire, he would have the sickest, hottest ride at Jamaica. Right? It's like this guy basically get parts from friends and who him can borrow or whatever
Yep.
and
Made
put
it
in
work.
car together. And I'm like, yo, this is passion.
Yes.
This is passion.
So you've basically opened up the platform for many people to be a part of 876 Streets and express themselves with what they have.
It no matter if you ride a bicycle, you drive, it is
Old school, new school.
it is where the
fast.
passion.
It's where the passion
It's,
lies.
yeah, it's a passion.
I must say though, Kedron, when you started and the decals came out, there were a lot of people across Jamaica wearing 876 Streets decals.
Yeah.
At the time, we had a Toyota Tacoma,
Yes.
and
yes.
we got one of the decals for the truck. And you came out with this road invasion, road
Yes,
trip
yes,
thing,
yes,
and
yes,
we
yes.
we came. I came driving the Tacoma, and I
Yeah.
thought to myself, boy, I really love cars, and I really wish that one day I can put a decal on my car instead of having it on a motor
But-
truck.
oh,
You know,
okay.
I didn't feel a racing passion through driving a big unit.
I get you.
And 876
Wow.
Streets is the reason I
Wow.
got rid of the motor truck, because remember now, my husband Kenito,
Yeah.
fast car all the time. That's his project. He races, he does his thing. I'm just like, oh, I like big vehicles. So Tacoma it was. But then when 876 Streets came about, I'm like,
no, the truck now go cut it.
It's not gonna cut it. I need me a car. And the evolution
came in.
Right?
Hence
Bishi. No, I said this to say, the minute I got the huge decal on the car, people would toot me. I would see other people on the street with the 876 decal and I would wave and I would flash. If someone had difficulty on the road, you felt compelled to stop and you only felt comfortable now because you saw an 876 Streets decal. And I can't even express how much you made me feel a part of a family. I felt, and especially as a female, a female in a motorsports world is not the typical thing.
That's true. Male dominated.
It's male dominated, and if you see a female presence within motorsports, they're usually wearing short shorts and sneakers and profiling on the day. They're more of the cheerleaders. They're car girls, right? They're more the cheerleaders and not the drivers. 876 Streets put some respect on what I wanted to be. You know, it created a platform for me to be Jodez, which some of them call Jodez. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing, and I just want to take the opportunity right now during this interview to thank you for helping me to evolve into something that I've always wanted to be. 876 Streets gave me the confidence to take on the road, confidence to drive a powerful vehicle, and the confidence to enter into a competition professionally and race and know that I am accepted within a group.
I just want to say to all the female enthusiasts out there, if you want a family, a brand, you want to rep a brand that people can identify you and say, yo, that person there is a car person. 876 Streets definitely
the platform.
Definitely.
876 Streets it's truly amazing, and you have a great knack with names. 876 Streets. We discussed that in the beginning of the video, how you came up with that. But then there's something else that you added within the brand, and that is cruise control.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the way the play on word. Cruise, all cruise groups could come out to this car show and
be in control.
Because the competitions that you have for us to take over. And then cruise control also plays on cruising
definitely
in a vehicle.
Definitely.
That was one of, I would say, the biggest car shows that I ever attended. So let's take a look at some of what 876 Streets have been up to over the years.
All right.
Fasten your seatbelts and prepare for an awesome experience. Showcasing the best of Jamaica's automotive culture.
876 Streets, repping for Jamaican sickest rides.
Alright, so Kedron, what would you say is the most memorable moment that you've had since you started 876 Streets?
There are several. The most recent one though, just last weekend, there was a racing event, Honda Day in Maryland.
Yes.
and a friend of mine participated, and he had the big 876 streets on the bonnet of the car, and all the media houses that they were streaming live picked up on the logo, and I was just like, wow. As I said, that's just one of the most recent things that made me feel so humbled. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
876 streets.
Yep. I saw a couple for you since the pandemic, and a lot of people think, well, generally the pandemic has set us back in some ways.
In some ways, yes.
But it also allowed us to maximize on things that we wouldn't have thought about on a regular circumstance. So, for example, you plan cruise control as a yearly event.
Yeah.
You also go to the different race meets and you do coverage
Yes.
for the meet, as well as interview the drivers, etc. On a race day, it is not the most opportune time to do an interview with some of the biggest and most known drivers.
Right.
Because not only are they in their element,
Right.
but they are also busy trying to get the car, to perform at its best, and their concentration levels.
True.
When the pandemic started, you started a series where, oh
Yeah.
my God, it was so amazing. I saw you cover some big names in motorsports. It was a pleasure to watch. It was a pleasure to see them in their home space, just expressing themselves, and they're, sharing the little nuggets as to how they started. Doug Hollywood Gore was one of those people, talking about sponsorship.
Yes.
And it really motivated a lot of upcoming motorsports enthusiasts.
Well, I really don't want to single out anyone per se, because I enjoyed all.
We did, certainly.
I mean, trust me, we're going to do it again.
Resume.
We're going to resume. However, I'm kind of waiting for some. I want to wait till it look like we're going to get the green light. Because here's the thing about
Yes.
these interviews. You see, when these racers start to talk, some people, I mean, them take offense to some of the things. And people want, I mean, not necessarily in a negative way,
Right.
but they must say, yeah, you call me, why you want to race,
Right.
So
You want the heat.
yeah, you want
Yes.
to know. So when you mix up the ingredient now, right, and the mood is right for some serious racing, people can actually go race.
Yes.
Because what you don't want to do now, because people have been asking me, when we're gonna have some more.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is
Build a hype.
build a hype, and then people want to settle this thing. Although, we started with street racing. Over the years, I've seen so much that kind of. I'm more now for a sanctioned event because of the safety. I mean, safety things that are in place.
Please.
There's an ambulance just in case.
Right.
Right? There are, marshals and personnels ensuring that you have your protective gear. Really and truly, street racing, there's always going to be a place for it. And that's the truth.
That's where most racers start.
Yes. However, I think it's safe to say I've now become an advocate for safer, because we all have loved ones, and the last thing I'd want to see is a friend of mine pinned down because of insufficient safety gears, roll cage, or anything. I know. Let's take it to the track. And that's one of the main reasons why I say, listen, let's kind of give it a break. But when it looked like we're gonna get the green light, we're back.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Definitely a plan.
Alright, so Kedron,
Yes.
it has been an absolute pleasure. I can't even express to you. I see you behind the scenes almost every day, and I pulled you out of that shell during the pandemic, you know, on those lives that you did. But I think it is very important that people know not only why or how I dived fully into motorsports,
Right.
but also to understand 876 Streets as a brand.
Right.
Understand what you do, why you do it, why so many people are interested in it. And if you have a passion for motorsports, you don't have to possess any special criteria to join 876 Streets. Just go ahead, click that button, subscribe, click the like, click the follow on all social media platforms.
Right.
You're there.
Right.
But what I'd want to ask you to do before you go, you mentioned a couple times throughout the video that you couldn't have done this on your own.
No.
And you have a strong support team of, you know, family and sponsors. Take the floor, take the time to
Wow.
mention some of them. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. You may generalize and just say thank you. They know who they are.
Well. Too much to name.
Yeah.
However, I just want to, you know, my biggest fan, you know, who is no longer here with us, but watching from above, you know, and that's my mom, you know. She has been one of the main motivators from day one. It's going to be strange going back to events without her being there to, you know, you eat something, you know, somebody to ensure that the equipment, they're all packed up to help me to set up. I mean, it is going to take some getting used to, but I just have to say, you know, a big shout out to mom, you know. Massive. For those who can see the car in the background, the car was recently wrapped, full wrap by Massive Auto Parts. Massive has been a sponsor since 2017 or 18. I can't quite remember right now. But Massive has been there for you know, I mean, my backbone, you know. So I have to say a big shout out to Massive Auto Parts, you know, Berries, you know, the whole team. Big up. A few friends. I don't want to leave anyone out, really, but I have to say thanks to the Murdochs. Did I pronounce that correctly, Jodez?
You did. I just didn't
Murdochs.
I just
Murdochs,
didn't expect.
right?
Yeah.
Kenito gave me my first sponsorship, right? So I was able to then do some marketing at that event,
that time.
and that really propelled 876 Streets. Jody, trust me, I don't even know where to start. Yourself and Kenito, you guys are so influential. Andrew Hudson, Kenty, Kenneth Timal, I don't want to get myself in any trouble. All supporters from Cayman, from the United States, Canada, Europe, the rest of the Caribbean. Trust me, I'd spend the entire week naming people, you know. But I just want to say thank you all, you know. Yeah, man.
Thank you, Kedron. Guys, this has been a long time coming. I mean, I guess I had to create a YouTube channel to get Kedron to speak on 876 Streets, because if it was to happen on his platform only, probably it wouldn't happen. But Kedron, thank you so much for joining us here on Jodez Unloads. And guys, please remember to like, subscribe, share this video with someone that you think would be interested in motorsports, driving, who are car enthusiasts, or who, you know, is interested in joining 876 Streets. We look forward to your comments, and we will catch you on the next episode of Jodez Unloads.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a spell.